Yes, but you can talk about politics when you've worked them, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think being the wife of a senator gives me special insight. People say the dumbest things and make the dumbest assumptions about politics, and they're prolific. Like one really stupid assumption, like probably the one that gets on my very last nerve. Do you know what it is? An assumption
Is it
laymen or people in other professions make about politics. Do you know what it is?
that all politicians are bad?
No, because that's pretty much true with about five
Oh yeah,
exceptions in the
that's
whole
right.
world. And my husband, yes, was indeed one of those. But no, that is just about true. People would say to me all the time when John was elected, what percentage of people in the Capitol building would you say are actually good people? And I would say about one. No, really, you could count them on one hand. And I'm sad to say it. Even the people who, were in there looking like they're fighting for all the conservative stuff were compromising behind the scenes. They knew how to put a pretty picture on it. They knew how to make it look like they fought for your bill while they killed it behind the scenes. Not very many people in politics are good people. I'm sorry. It's just true. Not
even,
many
even the ones that go
politicians.
in there who
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
the most genuine people, there's something that, wow, it's just something so powerful
Something
about
intoxicating
that. Yeah.
about the power. And I've seen it happen many times, and I've told those stories. I told them in my book, ladies and gentlemen, but that is not what gets on my nerves. The thing that most gets on my nerves when people say, when people from the outside looking in talk about politics and think they know all, there are really two things that get on my nerves first and foremost. I know you can get them. Try again.
That all lobbyists are bad.
No, but that's a good one because not all lobbyists are bad. In fact, I have a lobbyist staying in my home with me this week because I watched this lobbyist. She was a very ethical lobbyist. She did her job to educate people on issues. She actually changed my mind on an issue. And so no, lobbyists aren't all bad, and they really are there for a purpose. It's the system that is bad, and it's the politicians and the way they use the power and the money that are bad.
Right, because the other side, they have their lobbyists in there. So if you think lobbyists are bad, you want to take all of our good guy lobbyists out of there.
Exactly.
You want to
Then
see
you
how
will-
bad it can be.
That's and the same policy with term limits, which was my second thing that I was going to say that makes me angry when laymen try to diagnose the problems in politics. Term limits is the worst idea ever. I'm the biggest hypocrite on the issue because I used to think it was a good idea, worked for it. Missouri watched it happen, and no, it's not because my husband was termed out. It's because I watched it, and it was bad. When you sweep out the good guys, even if there's only two of them with the bad guys, you end up with the power in the hands of those who are not elected, and then there's nothing the voters can do about it. It's 100% unconstitutional. It should never happen. So I feel the same way about lobbyists. My number one pet peeve that laymen make all the time about politics is that gridlock is bad. Gridlock is
yes.
not bad. Gridlock is designed by our founders. They intended for gridlock to happen a lot more than it does, by the way. They intended for there to be stop measures.
Wait, you mean they didn't intend for tens of thousands of laws and hundreds of thousands of new regulations to come out every single year?
Right. We would see thousands of bills every year through the Missouri legislature. I was on the phone yesterday with an assemblyman from California who told me he saw, I believe he said, 900 bills day before yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Scary happening in Sacramento. Do you know how frightening that is?
And half of them are all anti-gun laws.
I was going to say among them are $50. They're going to take $50. Now, this is their brilliance. They're going to take $50 to make you register to be able to buy ammo. Somebody please explain to me how even in theory that could possibly save a single life. Explain that to me. Registering me and my $50 to be able to buy ammo. Explain to me how that helps anything. Would you please get that for me right now? How are the liberals, the lefties, I hate to even use the word liberals, how do the statists, because if you believe in ammo registration and $50 fines for buying ammo, then you are a statist.
Well, come on. Why would you want to buy ammo if it wasn't to just go kill somebody, G? Come on.
So how they even believe their own hooey, I don't know. But that is one of the, I'm sure, one of the 700 bills that may have made its way through the California legislature day before yesterday. or up to, I guess, the California legislature. Is this a joke? And so anyway, so that is one of my big things, is that the idea that gridlock is bad, when gridlock is anything but bad. It's just not a bad thing. It's the way our founders intended it. And it is only laymen who think that gridlock is bad and term limits are good. The first person who decides to armchair quarterback politics and says gridlock bad, term limits good, you need to send them back to first grade, because like they don't get anything. They don't even have a philosophical underpinning whatsoever. They have no concept of the role of government and the Constitution, none. And they shouldn't be anywhere near a Capitol building. They should be fined $50 and banned from the Capitol building. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so that is one of my big things. Now, this is another thing that happens all the time. And if you are in the presence of someone who has spent decades in a Capitol building, regardless their position, don't tell them how much you know about politics. Gosh, that gets on my last nerves. I watch people sit and talk to legislators who've been in, and I don't care whether those legislators were right or wrong, whatever their opinion, they know their stuff. They know their stuff. And so to sit there and tell them how much you know about politics better, all your good ideas, ask them what they think, but don't tell them what you know, because you just sound like you are out to lunch. You don't know. And I don't care what side of the aisle they were on. I don't care how stupid you think their legislation was. There are things they know about the process, and you're not going to solve it with one of your bright ideas that you thought about while you were having lunch at the water cooler while you ran your accounting firm. I'm sorry. You don't get it. Even the most well-intentioned, intelligent people say the most outlandish, just embarrassing things out in broad daylight in public when they decide to talk about politics. Why is politics the only profession in the world where everyone thinks they automatically are geniuses on the topic? I don't know. I mean, you would never go up to a doctor and be like, look, you know what doctors need to do? If I were doing a knee surgery, I'd get in that knee, and first I'd clip that tendon, and then I'd twist it 3 times, and then I'd sew it back. No one does that. Why would you think that because you've worked at a desk your whole life, or because you've been a medical doctor, or because you're a psychologist, or because you're a radio DJ, that you know something about politics that a politician who's been in the building for years doesn't know? I was visiting, honestly, until 4 in the morning with my lobbyist friend who's in town, and she said to me, you know, do I really believe that standing on the Capitol steps and making a good argument, I am going to reverse the opinion of a legislator who ran on issues to be elected? Do I really think so? I thought that was a brilliant statement. I thought it was very insightful on her part to know that probably not. You might make a really good, compelling argument, and if you come alongside that legislator and get to know them and help them understand your perspective, you might bring them around. But are you going to fundamentally change the basic things that legislator believes and, by the way, used to get elected? Probably not. But what if you can? What if you can? Well, one person who's been studying this in the field actually thinks this is a great idea. Let's fundamentally tell politicians they should be able to flip-flop on issues. We're going to talk about the implications of letting mental health professionals anywhere near our politics, let alone our gun laws. We'll talk about that before too long. But right now, we have Fingers Malloy on the show, and I can't wait. Freedom Friday here on the Dr. Gina Show. You stay tuned for more right after this.